Hey everybody, this is welcome to the Planning Commission here on December 19th. We will do a call to order and roll call.
Yeah, Commissioner Barnum.
Oh, yeah, here.
Sorry. Commissioner Fellows.
Present.
Commissioner Fischetti. Commissioner Forge.
Here.
Commissioner Leeson.
Here.
Chairman Letts.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Wilkes.
Here.
Have a quorum, Chairman.
Fantastic, thank you. And everybody, I'd like to welcome James Barnaby. We voted him in a couple months ago, but finally got to meet him today, so it's nice to meet you.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, sorry for leaving you off.
All right, so the next item of business here is to do approval of minutes from our last meeting in October 24th. I looked them over and I didn't see anything that needed to be changed, but wasn't sure if anybody else saw anything. I think we're good, so we can just do a vote of yay or nay on that. All those in favor of approving the minutes, yay?
Yeah, yes.
All those opposed, same sign. Say that, that's good, so we're good there. All right, so next one is the new business here. One item, so case number 2405 plat, the consideration of Cedar Ridge Estates preliminary plat. And we'll open with the presentation of the request.
Yes, Chairman and Commissioners, before you tonight is consideration of the preliminary plat of Cedar Ridge Estates. So part of our duties and your duties as planning commissioners is to review the preliminary plat. In the staff document, I laid out, does it comply with the zoning subdivision regulations, conformance to the comprehensive plan, went into some detail about infrastructure, environmental considerations, lot layout, neighboring land uses, and how the development may be phased out. Ultimately, we're looking at this development to occur west of Butler Community College, south of Towanda Avenue, and east of Boyer Road. There are some existing housing along Towanda Avenue in the College Acres subdivision, as well as another private property with a single home dwelling in this area. Staff went through and checked for compliance with the zoning and subdivision regulations and feels that it complies with our zoning ordinance and all of our subdivision regulations. All of the lot sizes, setbacks meet and conform to the R3 zoning that was assigned a few months back and recommended by the Planning Commission to the City Commission. Again, R3 zoning is a mixed zoning use, so it can be everything from a single family home up to a multi-family apartment complex. The intent for the development, though, I would say is the multifamily aspect of it is going to be more of a townhome duplex situation. As a preliminary plat's been presented to us and for your consideration tonight, those are the way the lots are arranged. So there is no intent for an apartment type complex. I just wanted to explain the range of uses with under that zoning district. Comp plan is something we look at as well. As you planning commissioners are well aware, this 80 acres. Let me see. I do not have that, sorry. Roughly from the creek here, west, outside of the College Acres subdivision, this is still within Butler County. If you can follow my cursor here, there's a line, and this 80 acres was annexed into the city of El Dorado.
That was Monday, wasn't it, that they did that?
It was a while back. It was
Okay.
a while back that they did
What did
that.
they annex on Monday?
Last Monday, so annually, anytime properties annexed within the city of El Dorado, state law requires the cities to redefine our boundary.
Okay,
So that's what the city commission did Monday night at the meeting. So it's that legal description, you follow the city limits, the
Gotcha.
makeup of the city limits.
okay.
SEH is the consulting engineer hired by the developer to look at this development. They provided a preliminary drainage analysis to us, alignments for sanitary sewer and water. Phase one of the development here, the top end of the sheet, so the north end there is Towanda Avenue. So phase one of the development would tie into Towanda Avenue. Towanda Avenue's arterial, or a major collector within the city's functional classification of our roadway system. So carries lots of traffic. Still has capacity to carry more traffic based on analysis done in our transportation master plan. But a couple important points is Swan Avenue is planned for potential future improvements down the road. It is a narrow road that was originally built and was maintained by the El Dorado Township. Now city maintains it. Few environmental considerations for the preliminary plat area. So the full development it is still an active oil lease. There is an active oil lease. And we're quite familiar, the builder, the developer, quite familiar about working around those situations, as well as pipeline right-of-ways. Neighboring land uses I mentioned prior. College Acre subdivision is single-family residential, located along Towanda Avenue. You have the college, which is an institutional use to the east, and agricultural to the south. The infrastructure, so as far as water and sewer, it's pretty well ready, available. The city of El Dorado has a 12-inch water line that runs along Towanda Avenue. So the cost of extension is pretty minimal for that water line. And it was sized as such, anticipating future growth. Back in 2008, if I recall, is when we put that in. Sanitary sewer is just north of Towanda Avenue. So the collection of the sanitary sewer for this phase one development would go north into a lift station. So basically a pump station that pumps the sewage uphill. That pump station exists today. The city, we have looked in depth at that lift station. There's capacity for phase one, but if we move a little farther along, there's going to be some pretty big improvements that we have to do to that lift station, but phase one will not have an impact on it. Mr. Eddie Dean Jr. is here. If you'd like to invite him up, he can add any more details if you'd like to.
Yeah. If you'd like to come up, state your name and your address for us.
Eddie Dean Jr., 1010 East North Crest, El Dorado.
Oops, sorry, Eddie.
I think Scott pretty much covered the first phase that we're looking at. That phase may actually get broken up into a smaller phase depending on how everything goes. But I really don't have anything to add to that unless you guys have any questions.
Kind of looks like you're doing sheet 5, right?
Correct.
If we're looking at that.
Correct. And what,
And it's 2 little sections, so you have that little, isn't that a river right there in between the 2? Is that what that is?
yeah, within your packet, sheet 5, a portion of sheet 5 would probably be phase 1. What, if the planning commission so recommends proceeding to the final plat, that would be at the next meeting, which would focus on that phase 1. Part of the preliminary process is looking at conformity, the impact, community impact and infrastructure, as a development of whole. And as you can see in your packet, they've got it broken down in what could potentially be multiple phases. And a lot of times, the developers, aren't really have a clear plan for those phases up front. So that's why preliminary plats are the entire concept of a subdivision. Like I said, final plating would only be on a portion of what you're seeing tonight. So that phase one area, and what Mr. Dean was talking about is they may only construct to the intersection of this road here and wait till later to build these out.
So you're not looking at, like, that's the east side of the barrier, and then the road right there with the 4 lots, that's the west side of the barrier. Are they gonna just do the east side? Is that what we're asking for today?
Just the east side.
Okay, that's
No,
what, yeah.
what we are asking for today is to look at this concept as a whole.
Okay.
So the whole area. And throughout my memo, it references, we're talking about the whole area. I just wanted to make the planning commission aware that their intent is not to final plat the entirety of it, but to do it in phases. And the likely phase one would be a portion of what you see on the screen here.
So it could literally, after we do the final plat next month, is what the hope is.
That's, yeah, I think that's their intent.
That's what the intent is. And so this is just the initial, this would be the initial final plat if we think about it like that next month. But it lined up like this, but it could eventually, if, say, they decide to build apartment complex, they could combine some of these to be one lot of land and build an apartment complex if they needed to, right?
They would have to replat.
They'd have to replat it then at
Yes.
that point.
So
Okay,
when you guys accept the final plat, you're basically saying these are the lots of that subdivision.
okay.
If someone wants to change something that has to shift more than 2 lot lines around, they have to replat and come back to the planning commission. So there's a little protection there. Once a lot is platted, it stays with those boundaries. There's some lot split scenarios that you can do where you can maybe buy a portion of an adjacent lot or split something, but combining lots needs to go through a replat process.
So you couldn't have, somebody couldn't come through and buy from the developer 3 lots of land and combine it into one without coming through?
Right.
Okay, all right.
If this maybe helps make it a little more sense is what's before you tonight is the preliminary plat for Cedar Ridge Estates. You'll be considering final plats for Cedar Ridge Estates first edition, Cedar Ridge Estates second edition, Cedar Ridge Estates third edition, which is pretty common practice.
So we could have multiple meetings to finalize the plats for each
And
section.
there's probably gonna be years in between those final plats
Okay.
that happen in the future.
So are these for sale or are these rentals?
Both,
Okay.
yes. There'll be single-family housing that will be for sale. And then the east boundary where the smaller lots or the narrower lots are, those will be twin home lots that will be rented.
And it is in the Oil Hills School District?
I think it is, but I think it's also open to go to El Dorado schools too, correct?
I don't know.
I
I
think
don't
that
deal with
somebody
school
said
district
that, I think
boundaries.
somebody said something about that, they could go to wherever, but yes, it is in
Just
Oil Hill.
curious, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think you're right, state law
Are you
changed.
talking property tax, or are you talking about school district?
School district,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Property tax would be us, right? But
Oil
school.
Hill.
It'd be Oil Hill.
That'd be Oil Hill since it's west of
Okay.
Haverhill.
Haverhill.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Haverhill is the cutoff, isn't it? Yep.
God, are there any more vacant lots there at College Acres? Are they, is there?
It's built out. It is built out. Yep.
I did have a question about the utilities. Looking at this sheet, which is really cool to look at, Are they going to just do the one section at a time on the utilities, or is the city gonna do the utilities all over this entire section and then just open it up as it gets developed?
So the infrastructure would only be extended to serve a final platted area.
Okay,
And the way that the infrastructure proceeds is the property owner petitions the city commission for the extension of the infrastructure. And in that document, it spells out who's responsible for what cost, the payback terms, so basically the special assessments. So that will all be spelled out. With every plat, there could be a scenario where you're extending infrastructure to get to one area, that another addition can utilize that infrastructure. But with phase one of this, that would not be the case.
kind of looks like it's all just together there for that, yeah. Okay.
Question. I assume that the expansion of Towanda is allowed to widen that within the dimensions in the plat.
Correct.
Other question, if you look at the lots and they're gonna be multifamily, could you divide a multifamily on a property line and have two lots? Would that be allowed?
Correct, yes. So a duplex can be built with a common wall right on a lot line.
Okay.
Your regulations would say that lot needs to be at least 35 feet with 5-foot setbacks on the side yard to be able to do that. But you can have a lot line that distinguishes property ownership on a wall, so.
Thank you.
Good, thanks.
Thank you. So then we open up,
No public hearing?
no public hearing on this?
So, yep,
Okay,
plats do not.
okay.
Representatives from the SEH are here. They got caught up in a little bit of crazy traffic from what I understand. But if you have any specific questions about the development or what their involvement has been, I'm sure they'd be happy to come up and speak.
I don't think I have any at this time. Anybody else? Okay, so now I can open up the discussion to the planning committee then. Anybody has anything to discuss about it?
I'd just like to maybe talk about the rental aspect of it. It's important to recognize that, we all have homes, and if we want to, we can rent our own homes. And so I think that's something we need to keep in mind is not all rentals. Sometimes rentals have a negative connotation, but do keep in mind that you could rent your own house if you wanted to in your own neighborhood.
All right, so it looks like we can close the discussion here. Do we need to do a roll call vote on this, or?
Yep, well, you'll ask for a motion in the second, and then we can do a roll call.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the preliminary plat of the Cedar Ridge Estates addition as presented.
Second.
Second. All right. Mr. Rickard?
Yes. Commissioner Wilks,
Yes.
Commissioner Long,
Yes.
Chairman Letts,
Yes.
Commissioner Leeson,
Yes.
Commissioner LaForge,
Yes.
Commissioner Pachetti is absent, Commissioner Fellers,
Yes.
Commissioner Barney.
Yes.
All right, motion has passed. Thank you, guys. So the next thing is old business. Didn't see anything on
We
the
have
list.
none.
Yep. All right, so then staff items, we have a meeting, let's see, January 23rd, and that'll do the final plat
That'll be a final plat for a phase.
for
one of
this
that.
phase one, sheet 5. Okay. All right. I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Everybody, all those in favor? Aye.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Merry
Thank you,
Christmas,
guys.
everybody.
Grab a cookie on your way out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.